Hi and welcome. You are tuned in to CPAP for beginners and experts. The title of the show tonight is Solving the CPAP Puzzle. I'm your host, Chris, with AffinityHM.com. Here we cover tips, product reviews, news, and knowledge, everything CPAP, APAP, and BiPAP, so that you can get the best sleep of your life. So here we go, solving the CPAP puzzle. If you are new on CPAP, even if you've been using CPAP for a long time, there may be some knowledge, some tips that you're going to gain from watching this. So stick with us. Also, at the end, we are going to have a giveaway. So if you would type in comments, just like you see right here on the screen, hashtag puzzle with no spaces, hashtag puzzle, and you're going to be automatically then entered into a contest, and somebody is going to win a gift card to AffinityHM.com. So I was thinking about CPAP and the problems that people have, and I wanted to share some information with you that could be useful for you in your every night usage of CPAP, APAP, and or BiPAP. And I got to thinking that really it is often more than one problem. It's a problem after another problem after another problem. And many of you who are watching this right now, give me a thumbs up, give me a like on this video if you can relate to what I'm saying there, that it's one problem, you solve it. It's another problem, you solve it. It's a lot like a puzzle. You know, if you've ever done one of those 500-piece puzzles, which I have, and if you have, thumbs up and let me know. The first step always, if you're going to be successful at solving the puzzle, is to get the outline and get the outline done first, and then you start filling in the spaces one piece at a time. Now, I'm not saying you're going to have 500 problems like a puzzle. You may have no problems at all, but typically it's 1 to 3 different hurdles that need to be overcome in order to be successful with your CPAP. So as in building a puzzle, the very first step, probably sort of that outline, is to just build your understanding, learn about some very important things. And I think a really good place to start is to get a good and clear understanding of what obstructive sleep apnea is. You know, there's really two different types of sleep apnea. There is obstructive sleep apnea and there's central sleep apnea. Now, some would say there's three, because there is a third category. It's called mixed, where you have some obstructive and some central. Obstructive sleep apnea is the one that's probably the most important to completely understand in order to be successful with your CPAP. So I'm just going to give you a quick little rundown on what obstructive sleep apnea is. And in layman's terms, basically, it is simple. When you're not using CPAP, so you have sleep apnea, the obstructive sleep apnea is really nothing more than just a physical, it's not even really biological, it's just a physical closing of your airway when you fall into the deep sleep. You know, when you're in the deepest stage of sleep, everything relaxes completely, 100%. And that allows, you're lying on your back. That would allow your tongue, your jaw to fall back, your mouth to come open, and some other parts of the airway, some of this soft tissue right through here in your airway, to just sort of close off. And that is literally an obstruction that prevents the air from flowing into your lungs. Now, your diaphragm may still be pulling and trying to make the air come in, but this obstruction, be it the tongue or whatever it might be, is preventing the air from coming in. That's basically all it is, obstructive sleep apnea. So continuing with the puzzle, to build your understanding, understand CPAP is just a direct solution for what's happening with this airway closing off. CPAP stands for continuous positive airway pressure. And this pressure is coming in via machine is driving the pressure. You've got it coming in via a mask or a nasal pillow. And that pressure is exactly what is needed to simply provide sort of a splint on the inside of your airway to just keep that airway open, so that when your diaphragm does pull and try to bring the air in, the airway's open, so therefore you breathe. So in a nutshell, The obstructive sleep apnea is a blockage of the airway. The CPAP is air pressure that keeps that airway open when you breathe in and when you breathe out. So I think really one of the most important things to be successful with CPAP, and this is what I'm talking about all of the time, is to communicate. Communicate with your provider. Who provided the CPAP? If you're having a problem, who provided that mask? If you're having a problem, talk to them, call them, email them. Whatever it may take to just be sure that you are the one that's reaching out and saying, hey, I'm having a problem. And hopefully you're working with providers, doctors who can be helpful and help you solve those problems. And then another really, really good tool is our group on Facebook. You guys, by the way, this group is blowing up. There is practically 5,000 people on the group. It's called CPAP for Beginners, group on Facebook where a lot of people are there who are actually very, very well versed in understanding it, and they've already been through the same problems that you're going through. So you can go join that group on Facebook, ask a question, and you're going to get a number of really good answers. So you filter through those and probably will have an answer that will likely solve your problem, whatever that might be. Just a reminder for those of you who are just now joining us, if you would type into comments hashtag puzzle. We're solving the CPAP puzzle here tonight. So type in comments hashtag puzzle with no spaces. You're going to automatically be entered into our contest here in just a little bit, where we're going to give away a gift card to our website, AffinityHM.com. So you first you just build your understanding, and then after you have a good understanding, build on successes. So as I mentioned earlier, most people have between 1 and 3 problems or hurdles that have to be overcome in order to be successful with CPAP. And so let's talk about how to have success after having a mask leak. Mask leaks are typically solved by one of two situations. One might be that you simply just try a different mask or a different size, and the problem is solved. And then the other, maybe it could often, many times it's a pressure situation. So when this is an interesting thing to understand is when a mask leaks, the machine is set, its algorithm is set in order to try to achieve a pressure. So when the leak is happening, the machine actually drives more, which can exacerbate the leak, make the leak even worse than it already was. So in order to solve a mask leak, you are going to have to try different masks or different mask sizes, and just stick with it and keep going on that. There are many, many different types of masks. You have the nasal pillow that seals around your nose. You have the full face mask, goes over your nose and mouth. Make sure that size is correct. You have just the nasal mask, and then you also have a hybrid, which is a mix between the nasal and the full face. So folks who like the nasal, maybe you like to wear your glasses and read or watch TV before you fall asleep. The hybrid is great for that. So if you would type in comments, what type of mask are you successful with right now? Or which type or which brand, whatever it is you want to type in comments, let other people know so that we can see what are the best masks out there right now. I have an opinion. My opinion is that the full face mask is probably best for most people, as long as you can tolerate having that mask. If you're a side sleeper, sometimes a full face mask can be a problem. You lay over on your side and the mask sort of pushes, the pillow sort of pushes the mask out of position, causing a leak, which can be a problem. But then you can get a CPAP pillow that will take care of that. All right, so celebrate your successes. Whenever you do pass one of those hurdles, celebrate that and keep going. That's really, really ultimately the key. And also, when you get that pressure perfect, you're gonna know it. You know how you'll know it? Uh, it's not the phone app. It's not the number. Getting that 100 score is not necessarily the holy grail in CPAP perfection or pressure perfection. You'll know the pressure is right because you slept so good. You dreamed. You wake up feeling refreshed, because when you're sleeping well, when your CPAP pressure is correct, you're going to get the REM sleep that you need. And getting that REM or rapid eye movement type of deep, deep sleep is, as you know, what makes you feel better. So many people who come in and get CPAP, especially if they're in, let's say they're in their 40s. I've noticed that many people in their 40s who are originally, for the first time in their 40s, set up on CPAP, one common, very common thread is this: hey, I thought that it was because I had turned 40, that the age is why I was feeling weaker and slower and tireder. However, I guarantee you it's not that necessarily. If you have sleep apnea, it's not because you turn 40 or 45 or 50 or 55. If you have sleep apnea, it's because you're not getting good, deep REM sleep. So, really, no matter what age you are, don't blame it on your age. It's probably the sleep apnea that's the problem. So, celebrate the success whenever you find that correct pressure. I want to mention many CPAPs these days are actually APAPs. So, the difference between CPAP and APAP is this: a CPAP is just one pressure, maybe it's 10 or 12, but the machine is going to drive that pressure, whether you're breathing in, whether you're breathing out, whatever the prescribed pressure is, that's the amount of pressure that you get all night long. And APAP, we're going to have a prescription that gives us a range of pressures. That range may be 6 to 12, for example. If the doctor feels that your best pressure is somewhere between 6 and 12, we set it at 6 and 12. The machine, if it's an APAP, will run at 6 until it detects that you're having an apnea or a hypopnea. And once it detects that you're having an apnea or hypopnea at the pressure of 6, it instantly changes 6.2, 6.4, or they may be set to go 6.5 and 7, 7.5. But it will stay within that 6 to 12 or wherever it's set all night long. So what we're discovering is that the narrower you can make that range, as long as it's accurate for your best and optimal pressure, the narrower the better. So if you have a CPAP that's set at a super wide range, like the doctor prescribed it to be 4 to 20, for example, that's a very wide range. So here's what's going to happen, possibly, is that it's going to run at the low pressure. You have apneas, it's jumping all around, it's moving, it's changing the pressure. And guess what that is causing in many cases? That is causing arousals. That's causing people to awaken because of the pressure changes. So it actually is sort of shooting yourself in the foot a little bit in many cases. So if you have a super wide range, talk to your doctor about this. Take a look at the data. And after you've been using it for a month or two, you can look at the data, and the doctor can look at the data and hopefully narrow that range. Possibly even just get it on one spot number. Use it as a CPAP. So I advocate for a narrow range if possible. Definitely communicate like I talked before, but make sure that the narrower the range, the better. Absolutely, that's a fact. And once you've had these successes and you've gone through and you just kept on keep it on, keep on keeping on, share it with others. And I'm going to bring up the group again on Facebook because it's so phenomenal. CPAP for Beginners on Facebook is a wonderful group. So you can learn, you can ask questions as a beginner. And then after you have surpassed the hurdles and you're getting fantastic sleep and you understand, you can share your information and your knowledge and your experiences with other people on Facebook. Now, by the way, I want to mention there are some other really fantastic groups on Facebook as well. You may want to look up a group called CPAP Therapy. That's an excellent group that I'm a member of also. I love that group. Sleep apnea support group. It's called Sleep Apnea Support Group. That's a really good group as well. Good people on both of those groups. I really enjoy both of those. So, all right. So let's see. I want to say it's giveaway time. If you haven't already done it, type into comments #puzzle. And you're going to be in the contest. You have just a few more seconds to do that because we are getting ready to pull the trigger on seeing who has won that prize tonight. It's a gift card to AffinityHM.com. So if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's see who is going to win the gift card tonight. Right after this, you guys, we're going to have a quick question and answer session. So stay tuned. The winner of the gift card to AffinityHM.com is William Sum, my friend William Sum has won the gift card. And William, thank you for joining the contest. Thank you everyone for joining the contest. And William, you know what to do. Just send an email to AffinityHM.com and I'll send you that gift card on tomorrow morning. So I look forward to hearing from you, William. And let's see what you guys have in comments. Oh my goodness, tons and tons of comments. All right, so bear with me here. I see Kimberly's here. Belty Cat is here. Judy is here. Oh, Judy. Amy is here. Welcome all you guys. Diane is here. We have Gary Gross with us as well. Zachary's here. William's here, of course. You know, he just won the gift card. Martha's here. Sonia is here. Let's see who else. Let's see. All right. Here's a great question. Diane has a question. Chris, please define just how can you tell if a mask is leaking? Actually, that's a really great question. So, especially for beginners, let me point one little thing out. If you're brand new on CPAP, you may have noticed somewhere in your mask, no matter what kind of mask you have, hopefully there really needs to be, and there should be, and there probably is, a bunch of little holes somewhere where some diffuse air is leaking all of the time. Well, that needs to be there so that when you exhale that carbon dioxide, it's going to escape the system right there. So right there at the mask, there's a continuous and purposeful leak somewhere in the mask. Outside of that, there should be no air leak. And the best way to determine an air leak is really with your ears. You will hear an air leak before anything else. So if you're not sure, if your hearing isn't really great like mine, then you look at your data, and there's going to be a place somewhere that you can see on your screen. It's going to tell you whether or not you are having a leak. Another really good thing to do is actually test out your mask system as you sit down on the side of the bed. It's time to go to bed. Sit down on the side of the bed and put your mask on, turn your machine on. Put it on kind of loosely initially, I recommend. And then with your machine on at your prescribed pressure, just gradually tighten the mask up little by little, evenly until the leak stops. One more step. When the leak stops, turn your head left, right, look up, look down. And you may spring a leak at that point. If so, tighten it up just a little bit more. And that should be perfect for sleeping right there. But the sound of the leak is number one. Then check your data is number two. On your screen of your CPAP machine, there's going to be a place where it's going to show you the next morning how much of a leak that you had. Okay, in the data, you're going to want that leak to be, the book says 24, in the respiratory books. All right, so, but I like 20. I like 20 or less. 20 liters per minute or less is an acceptable leak. So nothing you need to do if your leak is that low. But that's the answer to that. All right, so let's see. Kimberly is using the nasal pillow, I see. All right, Zachary is using the F&P Brevita nasal pillow and the F&P Evora. When he says F&P, he means Fisher and Paykel. Great company. They do a great job. Unrelated question from Judy. Do I wear the strap of my Knightsbridge chin strap towards the front near my chin or towards the back of the neck? All right, so if I understand that question correctly, I'm going to turn sideways so you got a profile view. The chin strap of the Knightsbridge, or really any chin strap, should be right here comfortably, kind of the front of the material should be probably right about at the pinpoint of your chin and extend through here, something like that. Comfort is important though. And also with all chin straps, careful not to make them too tight, because all you really need to do is just keep your teeth together and, suction the air out of your mouth, like swallow the little bit of air that stays in, put your tongue to the roof of your mouth. That also will provide an uplift to try to keep that chin up. But hopefully that answers your question there. All right, let's see. I see some other people are using the F30i, P30i, N30i, and Dream Wisp. Some leak no matter what I do. Favorite is pillows, but headgear always slips off. Yeah, I've heard that for some people. The Knightsbridge is the least likely one to slip off, and here's why. With that Knightsbridge chin strap, the strap, instead of kind of coming at an angle like this, you're going to strap that strap and have it come straight up So obviously, with a straight up situation, it's just less likely to pop off at the bottom of your chin. All right, we have another user here. Martha is using the ResMed F20 and CPAP pillow. You guys notice what I'm seeing here is that most people are using more than one mask, and I think that's great. And so I see Georgette saying, "Hi, mom and dad. Thank you guys for being here." By the way, Dad, I'm going to call you in a little while. Martha is saying, "I have moisture problem with nasal and pillow mask." So, this time of the year, as the weather begins to get cooler, if it's cooler in your house now than it had been during the summer, then you're gonna probably have more rain out. Because remember, the rain out, the water droplets inside the tubing, that happens due to a difference of temperature inside the tube and outside the tube. So think about the room temperature. If it's colder and the temperature of the machine is the same, you're going to have more rain out. So many times at this time of the year, you may have to actually decrease the temperature of the heated humidifier, crank it down a little bit. If you have a climate line, all of that happens automatically. So many people ditch the climate line at this time of the year and use a standard tube. Then you will then, if you have just a basic tube, they're like $7. Then you have control over your temperature setting. So you can set it a little lower, as long as you're not drying out, it's fine. Matter of fact, a lot of people go without water and use CPAP without water. I'm not necessarily recommending that because most people do better with some humidity. But some people do go without water, or you can put the water in it and just turn off your heated humidifier. You're going to get a little bit of humidity, but I do recommend play around with it. When you wake up in the morning, if you're feeling dry, then increase the humidity. But if you're not feeling dry or rough in any sort of way, then go that route. Absolutely. All right. So I see Williamson. All right. Georgette is asking a question here. How tight is the mask supposed to fit on your head? Well, really, what you want to do is just as loose as possible without a leak. Now, I have seen some people put the mask on and not turn the machine on and just like, really, and it's just so tight. Like literally, there's no way that's going to leak. Okay. However, you're going to be uncomfortable. So that's why I say really turn the machine on and just gradually tighten it until the leak stops, and then try the head turn up and down, left and right, and that's where you have the best possible situation. So we got a question from Albert. What is the difference between BiPAP and CPAP? I'm on BiPAP at the moment, but my doctor may want to switch me to APAP. Well, BiPAP is better than APAP. You may be able to tell that. I'm a big believer in you get what you pay for, right? Have you noticed the difference of price for BiPAP versus APAP? BiPAPs are way more expensive. Here's the difference. With a CPAP or an APAP, either CPAP or APAP, the pressure is the same when you're breathing in and when you're breathing out. So you feel this resistance when you're exhaling with a CPAP or an APAP. And for some people, especially on high pressure, that is just too much resistance. It can be uncomfortable for some people. So the doc will switch them to BiPAP. And it would typically be covered if you've already tried CPAP and it wasn't working out. Typically, insurance companies do cover BiPAP in that situation. BiPAP is different in this one simple way. The pressure is higher when you're breathing in and lower when you're breathing out. It has a sensor, so it can tell as soon as you end that inspiration, it switches the pressure and allows you to exhale way more easily. It's a lot more like regular breathing. And I talk about this fairly extensively in the course CPAP Academy. CPAP Academy, by the way, we have a new price on our CPAP Academy. Check out AffinityHM.com and you can purchase a course. I go A to Z, everything CPAP, APAP, BiPAP, sleep apnea, etc. And there's some really good information in there. But it's one pressure breathing in, a lower pressure breathing out. Way more comfortable. All right, we have another question. I began with a full face mask, pillow mask, which moved because I'm so restless. Yeah, I went to the nasal and tried the bleep. No wonder what I did. No wonder what I did. I had bad mask connect. connection noticed, went back to nasal. Well, bleep, by the way, it looks like you are doing exactly what I'm asking everyone to do, is really just solve the puzzle, just stick with it. Don't quit, don't give up, keep trying different things. So that's fantastic. Kudos to you for that. Bleep, previously, is a plastic connection. You stick the deal on your nose and it had to snap in, a little plastic deal. And it was a little bit difficult, although many people love bleep and are doing really well. Bleep is taking it up a bunch of notches. They have invented the Eclipse, which is going to be just a tape deal, and then with the little metal rings, and you just magnetize it. The bleep just magnetized, no headgear whatsoever. So that's coming, and that also is on our site. It's called Coming Soon, the Bleep Eclipse. So find that on our site, and you can be notified as soon as they come into stock. I have a ton of people just waiting on those, and I do expect the bleep to be here in October, I believe. That's what I was told. So we'll see. As you know, a big challenge to get things out to the market these days. All right. What is best to clean the CPAP mask? Gary's asking. What's the best way to clean the CPAP mask? Well, if you look in your owner's manual for your CPAP machine, it's going to tell you clean the mask with soapy water only. Soapy water is a wonderful way to clean, and it does work. If you're using soapy water, you just take your mask, disconnect it from the hose, go over to the sink, or maybe get a tub, a nice clean tub to work in, and just a little Dawn dish detergent and soapy water, and rinse it all real thoroughly, let it air dry. Now, if that seems to be too cumbersome and you don't want to do that on a regular basis, and by the way, approximately, don't feel bad if you're not cleaning your CPAP mask, although you should. About 70% of people who use CPAP don't even really religiously on a regular basis clean their CPAP mask. And that's why we sell CPAP cleaners. CPAP cleaner is an easier way to do it. You just take your CPAP mask, hose, water reservoir, drop it all into a bag, hook up your little CPAP cleaner to it, hit a button, walk away for about 2 hours, and it will be sanitized. Now, the word clean and sanitize may mean two different things to some people. To me, sanitize means cleaned, but you will still have to use some CPAP wipes. Probably if you get some of the skin debris on the mask over time, use a CPAP wipe as well. But for me, the best way to clean is with one of the either Sleep 8, Purify O3, or the standard Purify CPAP cleaner. Those also are on our website, and you get free CPAP wipes with those as well. So they are way easier and faster, and more likely you'll actually use that versus the soapy water. So, all right. So let's see. So let's see. All right. Got a question here. Do people spend hundreds of dollars on multiple masks to find one that might or might not work? That's a great question too. All right. A lot of people don't know this, but ResMed, for a provider like myself, we're a medical equipment company here. We are nationally accredited. I've been doing this for 30 years. The company is 20 years old. ResMed, we have an account with ResMed. So if I set up a ResMed mask on one of my customers, and a week later they come back and say, hey, this isn't working, or the size is wrong, or whatever the problem might be, I take the mask back, I give them what they want, no charge. And then that mask that has been returned, I just go onto the dealer ResMed website and say, hey, I had a problem. I send that mask. They replace that mask. So your dealers out there have this ability. Whether or not they're utilizing it, that's another question. But that's how we get somebody that's new on CPAP to find the mask that works best for them. So we do limit it because ResMed also limits it. So like if we're turning over too many masks, there's a problem with ResMed. But it's a wonderful thing to know. All right, so let's see. So Judy is saying, when I make my mask too tight, I wake up with a headache. Absolutely. This is another reason I'm so excited about this Bleep Eclipse magnetized system without the headgear, because quite honestly, the headgear is really 90% of the problem is what makes it uncomfortable for many people. So super excited about that. I hope, Judy, that you're already on that list to be notified whenever we do get the Eclipse in. All right, so let's see. Got another question here. Where can I go to get support with treatment, emergent central apnea syndrome? My doctor is considering changing me to ASV. All right, to get support, really talk to your doctor about that. It's a very complex situation. So there's not really a cookie cutter answer. Whenever one needs an ASV, you probably have what I very in the beginning of the video talked about obstructive sleep apnea versus central sleep apnea and mixed. So you probably have mixed sleep apnea, and really talk to your doctor. Even some of the staff around the doctor may have the answer for you. All right. So I hope you find that answer. All right. Can unopened packages of CPAP mask be donated? Well, if they're unopened, I don't see why not. I will tell you this, however, if it's unopened for us as a medical equipment company, let's say somebody buys a CPAP mask from us, I ship it to them. They say they change their mind, they send it back. As soon as it leaves our doors, it's considered used. So we would never and never could or would set up that same mask on somebody else. However, being donated, like here around my area, there are places that help people in situations like that. So personally, I don't see why not. All right, so Albert is saying, I would love to use the bleep, but I am a mouth breather. Well, actually, you could still use the bleep even as a mouth breather. What you would want to do is the bleep along with a chin strap, or the bleep along with some mouth tape. Have you heard of Somnifix? Somnifix. Somnifix. That is some mouth tape that's helpful. So the bleep also, I saw somebody made a comment on our YouTube channel about the bleep. They said, oh, it's about $1 a day. So that gets really pricey. But if you think about it, the cost of a CPAP mask, and you're needing a new CPAP mask, hopefully you're getting a new one every 6 months at least. That really kind of narrows down the price and makes it much more comparable to the regular CPAP mask. But overall, if that's what it takes for you to be comfortable and get a really good night's sleep, absolutely worth it in my opinion. All right. So is Eclipse nasal mask? Yeah, Eclipse is a nasal mask. So the little tape deals tape right here like this. I have another video, by the way. The title of it is um, Cutting Edge Invention on our YouTube channel. So if you want to go to AffinityHM on YouTube and then search Cutting Edge Invention, I have a demonstration there of what this looks like. So check that out. But yes, it's definitely. So you might be in kind of in the same situation as Albert. If you were to switch to the bleep, you would want to probably invest in a chin strap and or mouth tape as well. All right. Wait, hey, we got another brand of mouth tape I've not heard of. Judy is using a Zazar mouth tape. All right. Well, that sounds good. All right. Maybe you guys can Google that and do some research on that. All right, you guys, that is everything that I had for you tonight. My prayers with those folks in Southwest Florida, Naples, Fort Myers, all through all of Florida. And also, if you're in South Carolina, I see that the storm has re-strengthened. It's a Category 1 again. It's looking like it's going to go into South Carolina. So I'm praying for all of you guys. Many of you are my customers, my friends. I know you, and just praying that you're safe and healthy. And really, a hurricane is really a community can really grow way stronger through a challenge like this. I've been through a number of them, and it's just wonderful to see how people come together. They put their differences aside. They help their neighbors. And so that's my prayer, that the community just grows stronger. Everybody's healthy and safe. And so just join me in that prayer for all of those people out there in Florida and South Carolina. All right, you guys. Well, thank you all for being here so much. I appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing you again right here Thursday night, every Thursday night, 8 p.m. Central Time. So you guys sleep well. Have a wonderful night. Take care. Bye-bye.